This word God, G-O-D, okay, comes out as Germanic Gud, okay, who's also the Germanic Guden, who's also the Germanic Wooten, also known as Wood, okay, and for those that know their Germanic, they know that God is also God. God is also God, right? So this is the Gothic God, okay? And the Gothic God, Goth, is also, as you keep going further and further, Wooden is Odin, right? And Odin is, so it's wood, as I said, wood, it's war, it's wed, as in Wednesday, right? It's grim, okay, that's like in conclusion, that's, more oftenly referred to as grim. Let me see if that showed up for everybody. Okay, good. So my head's on the screen. Okay. So this is important because English, as we know, okay, English actually is, this ang is where we get the root angel from. It basically means like in itself a god, right? Or as we can see, an angel. It's like one level below God, right? And then ish means man, okay? So English means, as we know, angel man, because it's an act of attempting to utilize certain angles from stars and to put them inside of the actual vessels that are speaking the language in itself, okay? And the highlight here is that Odin, or Wotan, though, has a very specific story, and that story really centers around what's called the wild hunt. And in the wild hunt, I'll find me something to wipe things off with in a minute, but in the wild hunt, let me get back to my desk. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So in the wild hunt, like specifically, like you can go and check this out yourself. Now, some people will go back and forth about this because they may want to use the words for something else. They may want to say, well, the word means this to me, but the word is actually a vibration, and the vibration calls forth from the angle of the torus field, the specific energy in which you're evoking. So it is very specific that when you're saying God, you're talking about Woden or Odin. And Odin's story is basically, in a nutshell, if you want to kind of hang out with Odin, Odin is the leader of the wild hunt. And what the wild hunt is supposedly a army, if you may, of ghouls, right, that chase large troves of dead people who have been killed in a war to eat them. Okay, that is the wild hunt. So I'm not making this up. So again, sometimes when we're even saying or thinking that we want to be something or be like something, we have to take a step back for a moment and understand what that something even is. And then maybe isolate that and see if that could be causing some level of confusion, because we have an entire, a big part of the world aligned to this angelic or Anglo-Saxon God structure, in which was birthed from mostly their conflicts, which they are seeming to steep themselves into even right now. And that the idea of the energy that they were attempting to pull from the stars was to actually be able to slay and all of these other things that are not even really the original ideals. And that's kind of what we're getting to here. We're not really getting to, well, who's right and who is wrong. What we're saying is the original is love. So the opposite of that is basically the shadow or the shade or the reflection. It will always be in itself the illusion, in itself the ego itself, ego prime. Somebody said demiurge, right? But I also find something very interesting, because it's almost like in certain cultures are attempt to try to take other cultures. So we started even relating all of the gods, if you may, from different cultures in with the Germanic gods. It was like they kind of consumed, or Gothic gods, they kind of consumed all of the other gods and theisms in the world, as if everybody worshiped the same type of God under the same thing. And that's not true. Doesn't that sound stupid anyway? Like you could go to my tribe somewhere else in the other part of the world, the Mediterranean. You know, we're peaceful. We ain't been through war. Everybody's on love, advancement, technology, the whole nine. And then all of a sudden, 3,000 years in the future, somebody is saying that the same God that we worship was the same God that everybody else was worshiping. Right? That just seems so far-fetched. But it can be accepted unless you understand what God is in the first place, what ancestors are in the first place, and how in which do they come into the world, and how in which are they evoked into the world, and what they are really. And also, when you're able to do that, you're also able to identify yourself. You're able to understand how you come into a matrix, how you exit a matrix, all those kind of things. So it's all rolled into the same system. Give me 1 second here. I have a definition coming for Wooden.